Hey guys, welcome back to some more videos. And tonight I want to talk about two films. And the first one we're talking about is 10 Cloverfield Lane, which came out in 2016. Gets a 7.4 on IMDb. Now this is a film that I don't know what you say. I don't want to say this is a sequel to Cloverfield because it really has loose. It's loosely based off of. Well, I mean, it's like I guess it's like a loose sequel in a way because this film has nothing to do with Cloverfield. The original film, which I'm not really the biggest fan of, honestly. If I would do a review on it, it probably would be a rant because I wasn't really the biggest fan of Cloverfield. But this film, this was good. This was like me buying a Blu-ray of this good. This film is definitely a way different film than the original film. I guess there is some similarity with aliens. This film does deal with aliens and stuff like that. Which, by the way, guys, spoiler alert, I will be spoiling this film. So if you haven't seen 10 Cloverfield Lane yet, this is a spoiler review. But this film is a very loose, I guess, sequel. I'm not even sure if I'd call it a sequel. It's more of a, I don't know. I don't even think it's called a. I would consider it to be a spin-off. I'm not really sure what to call this movie because it's not a prequel. It's definitely not a prequel. It's I don't know if it's a sequel or if it's a spin-off or if it's just by itself sort of type of film. But it is connected to Cloverfield, the original film. And the title of the film is, of course, the address of where this film takes place. And this is in my opinion, it's a slow burn horror film. It's an hour and 44 minutes long, but it's one of those slow burn horror films that are done well. And this is actually a newer horror film that was really good, and I was very surprised by it. Of course, you got not really a big cast, but still, you got John Goodman playing Howard. You got Mary Elizabeth Winstead playing Michelle. You also got John Gallagher Jr. playing Emmett. All three characters, well, the Michelle and Emmett characters are likable, and John Goodman did a good job playing Howard. And besides those three people, there's not really a lot. There is probably like nobody else involved in the cast. Of course, you've got a couple people like Suzanne Cryer credited as the woman. You got Bradley Cooper, who plays the voice of Ben. And pretty much not really a big cast. But the ones out of this list that are pretty much most involved in this film is John Goodman, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and John Gallagher Jr. And they all three did a good job. In this film, what it does well is it handles atmosphere, handles tension and intensity, and it handles acting very well. And if you're going to make a slow burn horror film, story is also good in this film. But the big thing that you need for a film, if it's going to be a slow burn horror film, is story, likable characters, acting, and the other stuff matters as well, like good atmosphere and stuff like that. But those are the three things that you need to have a really good, at least in my opinion, to have a really good slow burn horror film. You have to have atmosphere, story, and characters. Without those, it's gonna be boring. And without those, it's gonna be like a slow film. And I really do enjoy a lot of slow burn horror films. I enjoy The Shining. I enjoy The Theme, which those are both classics. I really enjoyed. Try to think of other slow burn horror films. The Exorcist, very slow burn horror film, but I really enjoyed it. And this is very, very loosely based, or a very, very loose sequel to Cloverfield. I honestly don't think it's really a sequel, but it is connected to Cloverfield. And the story is very good. I mean, you got this girl, Michelle. You find out that she's a clothes designer, or at least was thinking about becoming a clothes designer. She gets into a car wreck one day. She wakes up in this bunker, and you got Howard by John Goodman. Really good job by John Goodman in this film. He did a really well done job being a psycho in this film. And he's acting weird, talking about basically she can't leave, and she of course is a little bit freaked out by the Howard character. And you find out that there was pretty much this gas that was released and it killed everybody, and he took her into the bunker as well as the Emmett character, which I guess had helped him build the bunker. Those three people were down there, and pretty much outside the air is unbreathable. If you go outside, you pretty much die. And you found that first the Michelle and Emmett characters are sort of like, a little bit trying to escape, but then when they find out about, because there's a girl who comes to the door, pretty much to the entrance to the bunker, and her face is all messed up, and pretty much they believe Howard about the whole air being polluted and stuff like that. And a couple months go by, and they sort of get a little bit concerned about Howard's daughter. He keeps calling her, I can't remember what he called her name, but pretty much his daughter, he keeps bringing her up, saying that she used to wear these clothes, she used to watch this movie. And pretty much they found out that, Howard must have kept his daughter down in the bunker as like sort of a, kept her down there and held her hostage and stuff like that, and she pretty much died down there. And they're trying to figure out a way to build a hazmat suit out of a curtain and a couple of like 2-liter bottles, empty 2-liter bottles. And they ended up building it, and pretty much from there on they're trying to get out of the bunker, because they found that John Goodman's a psycho. This film, I'll get to more of the details in a second, but that's pretty much the gist of the plot. The film is just extremely well done. From the way that it was shot, which was very expertly, done. The acting, I thought Mary Elizabeth Winstead, of course, you guys have seen her in a lot of films. She's been in films such as Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Final Destination 3, which, she did a good job. She did a decent job in that film. And, of course, she was from the Thing prequel, which that film freaking sucks, but, I don't know. I think her acting in that film was okay. She's also in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I remember her from that. And the one I do remember her from, though, is definitely Final Destination 3. She was also in the Black Christmas remake, which once again was crap. She was in the Ring 2. She was also in Death Proof. So she's been in quite a few horror movies, and this is probably easily her best performance, because Final Destination 3 was decent. I can watch it as a decent time waster slasher film with some decent practical effects, and even the special effects that were used that were CGI weren't terrible. But she wasn't really the strongest actress in that film, but she did okay. And The Thing, again, maybe I hate that film, but maybe she did a decent job acting. A little bit of a decent job here. She definitely blew it out of the park. She did a good job. Every line that she delivered, she did a good job playing scared. Did a good job in this film. And this is probably easily, hands down, her best performance. And even the guy who played Emmett, John Gallagher Jr., did a good job. I'm going to see what films he's done. He's been involved in Hush. I do remember him from that. I think, did he play the killer? I believe he played the killer in Hush, which is another film got a review as well. But he was from Hush, Pieces of April, and Short Term 12. But definitely I remember him from Hush. And this one was probably, once again, his best film. I really enjoyed him in Hush. He did a good job as the killer, but this is probably his best film. And, of course, John Goodman's been in a lot of movies. The Hangover Part 3, Monsters, Inc. He's been in lots of movies. The Flintstones movie, which, yes, I enjoy. People are like, well, why do you enjoy the Flintstones movie? I grew up with it. I watched a lot as a kid, and, the sequel sucks, the prequel, whatever the freak that movie was, sucked. That the Flintstones 2, I can't really remember what it's called, but I know it's a prequel, but it doesn't have John Goodman in it. Doesn't have anybody from the original film, or at least I can't remember it having anybody from the original film. But John Goodman's been in a lot of films. Did a good job in this film. And the use of atmosphere, the use of camera work, it's just done so well. It's just the way that it's shot. The atmosphere is chilling, and there's a lot of intense moments in the film. And they're building these things, and John Goodman's finding out about what they've been building. He gets like a barrel of acid out, puts the supplies in there, and a really crazy moment where they built these characters really well done, build up for the characters, and John Goodman goes, "Okay, what are you guys gonna do with these supplies?" And the Emmett character goes, it was my fault. I designed it and I was gonna get a gun so that basically making up a fake plan. And John Goodman just shoots him right in the head. This is actually a PG-13 film, and this was actually the way that PG-13 film should be done. Not the whole bullcrap of Ouija and the whole bullcrap of other freaking PG-13 horror movies that freaking suck. I'm like Mama, I hated that film. But this is the way that if you're going to do PG-13, add some really well done suspense, because there's some suspenseful moments in this film that are just on the edge of your seat. They're really well done, really suspenseful, and they're just well shot, well acted, and that's very important when it comes to suspenseful scenes. Good acting and good execution of the scene, because if it's not done well, then it's not really that suspenseful. But yeah, the Howard character pretty much shoots the Emmett character right in the head. Really shocking moment, just like a very literally when he got shot in the head, I was like, because they build that character out through the entire film, and boom, he just kills him. And from that moment on, Michelle's trying to get out of there. She pours the barrel of acid on John Goodman. He's all melted up on half his face. But this was probably the one thing that, okay, this seemed like it was just like this for the PG-13 rating, because she pours the acid on him, all over him. Or at least it seemed like it did. But then you see him later, maybe this part, not even Two-Face, just maybe a little bit right here is a little bit melted, and you see a little bit of skin. I get it's PG-13, they can't show that much, but still, it was that was just so obvious, hey, this is PG-13, because just a little part right here is melted, rest of it is regular, and it's just caught me off guard. I was like, why isn't his whole face burnt off? He got acid dumped on him. But, she dumps acid on him, gets in the vents, climbs to this other exit out to get out of the bunker. She puts on the hazmat suit, gets out of there, takes a can of antifreeze and sprays a lock and breaks the lock, gets out of there. When she goes on the surface, she finds that the air is breathable. But that's when you get the inclusion of aliens. And the aliens come in, they're scanning everything, they send these weird robotic worm things down, and she's trying to fight that thing off, and then when she goes towards the house, a spaceship comes out of nowhere. Really good moment where she goes into a car, the alien worm robot thing takes her mask off, she gets a lighter, a bottle of whiskey or something, a bottle of wine or something like that, shakes it up, puts a napkin in there, lights a Molotov cocktail. She throws at the monster. I guess it's a ship, but it's also a monster. It has a mouth on it. So very interesting idea. Throws it into the mouth. It explodes. The car goes back down into the ground. She starts the car up, drives out of there, finds out that there's survivors. She has to go to the nearest city, which I think is Houston or something like that. And she drives there. End of the film. My bad, that's my PlayStation. It's still on, but she drives there, and that's pretty much the end of the film. And there's a lot of just well done moments in the film. Because honestly, guys, this was what kind of bothered me though. And I get it, it's a film, you gotta have a conflict in there. If this wasn't a conflict, there'd be no conflict in the film. But they're down in this bunker. There's movies, puzzles, unlimited food, air conditioning, I think, or just air or something like that. Just they're pretty well done for being in the post-apocalyptic world. They got everything: movies, games, board games. And I get it that John Goodman is a psycho, but still they got like board games, and they're pretty well, set for the post-apocalyptic world. But they find out about John Goodman's daughter, and then again, like, it's not really that much proven. You see a picture, and maybe, but I would, if I was in the situation, guys, and I had like unlimited food, no worries, no aliens, no nothing, I would be like, okay, whatever, he did some psycho stuff, I don't care, as long as I'm alive. I'll play it cool for now. When this whole thing blows over, I'm out of here. That's what I would do. I'd play it cool. That way, they didn't have to make any, like, hazmat suits to get out of there. And thus, why that guy didn't. If they wouldn't have done that, that guy would have got killed. I would have just played it cool and just been like, okay, he's a freaking psycho. But when I get out of here, when this whole thing blows over, I'm getting the freak out of here. I get it. Maybe John Goodman was like dangerous or something like that. But still, before they could even prove it, they freaking already make the hazmat gear and stuff like that. They're already getting out of there. And I get it. Without that, there'd be no problem. There'd be no conflict in the film. So it'd be very boring. But logically, I would have just been like, okay, maybe he is a psycho, but he hasn't hurt anybody yet. So, I mean, I guess he hurt somebody's arm, I think. The Emmett's arm. Or I don't remember if he did it to himself. I can't remember. I think it was Emmett just hurt his arm or something like that. And all I would do is just deal with the freaking psycho John Goodman, just play it cool, and then when the whole thing blows over, run the freak out of there. And just get the freak out of Dodge. But no, they gotta make this plan. The Emmett character gets killed, and John Goodman's character gets killed because of the big explosion in the bunker. But still, that's still just part of they have to have a conflict for the film, so I understand that. But I would play it, if it was me in the movie, I'd play it cool. I get it, he's a freaking psycho, but I'd play it cool, wait till aliens go away and stuff like that, then I'd freaking make a run for it. But then again, there has to be a conflict in the film, which I get that. But the film is well done, it's well directed. It was directed by Don Trachtenberg, and he's done films such as, try to get the 4 movies. Actually, this is actually his first film. The rest of these are just shorts and TV episodes and stuff like that. But this is really his first film, and it's actually well done. So well done to Dan Trachtenberg. He did a good job. It's well shot. It's a slow burn horror film. You don't really see much alien, but the tension's well done. Because you're not really sure. You're like, well, half of you's wondering, did that really happen outside? Is there really an outbreak? Is there really aliens out there? And the other part of you saying, is it, it just, you start questioning things. Like, is there really aliens out there, or is it just John Goodman being crazy? Is he holding them hostage, or is he really protecting them from aliens? And, he does act a little bit crazy, and I guess that's why they escape, but the girl, the Michelle character kills the Howard character over the John Goodman character, gets out of there, fights a couple aliens, gets out of there, gets in a car, drives to the nearest city, and that's pretty much the end of the film. So basic ending, very basic, not really any advanced, very basic ending. The film is just well done, well shot, good story behind it, good characters behind it, and as a slow burn horror film, it's well done. I'll definitely get it on Blu-ray when it comes out. And yeah, so 10 Cloverfield Lane, I enjoyed it a lot more than the freaking original film, Cloverfield, which I'm not really the biggest fan of. But anyways, guys, this is my review for 10 Cloverfield Lane. I am the Explorer of Horror, Horror Boy 465, aka Nate Murphy. And thanks for watching the review, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next review. Bye, guys.